Let us begin with the powers of Union Legislature. The Indian Constitution lays down an elaborate division of legislative powers between the Union and the state government in the 7th schedule. The executive powers of the Union and the state governments coexist with their legislative powers. The powers of the Union and the state governments are enlisted in the three lists known as the Union List, the State List, and the Concurrent List. In List 1, the Union List, the powers of the Union government are mentioned. It contains 97 subjects. In List 2, the State List, 61 subjects are mentioned on which state legislature will enact laws. In List 3, the Concurrent List are mentioned the powers that are to be concurrently exercised by the Union and the state government, and 47 subjects are mentioned in this list. The residual powers, that are remaining powers, not listed or included in the three lists, belong to the Union. There are, however, three conditions attached to this division. A. If on a concurrent list subject, the Union and the state's laws conflict, the Union law will prevail. B. If the Council of States or Rajya Sabha, by a majority of 2/3 of its members, decide by a resolution that a certain subject belonging to the state list is of national importance, the Parliament will be able to legislate on it. C. When a proclamation of emergency is in operation, the Parliament may legislate on any of the state subjects. The force of such law will lapse 6 months after the proclamation ceases to operate. Broadly speaking, all subjects relating to defense, security, external affairs, communication, currency, banking, and insurance, interstate river and river valleys, interstate trade and commerce, major industries, development and regulation of oil fields and mines declared by the Parliament necessary to be controlled by it, census and universities and other institutions declared by Parliament to be of national importance are under the Union's control. Legislative procedure. Quorum. The quorum to constitute a sitting of the Houses of Parliament is 1/10 of the total number of members of the House under Article 103 of the Constitution. No procedure can take place in either of the houses without the required quorum. Lawmaking is the primary function of the legislature. As modern society is very complex in nature, lawmaking also becomes a complex process. The Constitution of India prescribes the following stages of the legislative procedure. First stage, second stage, third stage, assent of the President. First stage. The first stage of the legislation is the introduction of a bill, which embodies the proposed law and it is accompanied by the statement of objects and reasons. Introduction of the bill is also called the first reading of the bill. There are two types of bills, ordinary bills and money bills. A bill other than money bill or financial bill may be introduced in either house of the Parliament and requires passage in both the houses before it can be presented for the President's assent. A bill may be introduced either by a minister or a private member. Every bill that is introduced in the House has to be published in the Gazette. Normally, there is no debate at the time of introduction of a bill. The member who introduces the bill may make a brief statement indicating broadly the aims and objects of the bill. If the bill is opposed at this stage, one of the members opposing the bill may be permitted to give his reasons. After this, the question is put to vote. If the House is in favor of the introduction of the bill, then it goes to the next stage. Second stage. In the second stage, there are 4 alternative courses. After the introduction, a bill may be taken into consideration, may be referred to a select committee of the House, may be referred to a joint committee of both the houses, may be circulated for the purpose of soliciting public opinion. While the first three options are generally adopted in case of routine legislation, the last option is resorted to only when the proposed legislation is likely to arouse public controversy and agitation. The day one of these motions is carried out, the principles of the bill and its general provisions may be discussed. If the bill is taken into consideration, amendments means changes to the bill and clause by clause consideration of the provision of the bill is undertaken. If the bill is referred to the select committee of the House, it considers the bill and submits its report to the House. Then the clauses of the bill are open to consideration and amendments are admissible. This is the most time consuming stage. Once the clause by clause consideration is over and every clause is voted, the second reading of the bill comes to an end. Third stage. In the third stage, the member in charge moves that the bill be passed. At the third reading, the progress of the bill is quick, as normally only verbal or purely formal amendments are moved and discussion is very brief. Once all the amendments are disposed of, the bill is finally passed in the House, where it was introduced. Thereafter, it is transmitted to the other House for its consideration. When the bill comes up for the consideration by the other House, it has to undergo all the stages as in the originating House. There are three options before the House. 1. It may finally pass the bill as sent by the originating House. 2. It may reject the bill altogether or amend it and return to the originating House. 3. It may not take any action on the bill, and if more than 6 months pass after the date of receipt of the bill, this means rejection. The originating House now considers the returned bill in the light of the amendments. If it accepts these amendments, it sends a message to the other House to this effect. If it does not accept these amendments, then the bill is returned to the other House with a message to that effect. In case both the Houses do not come to an agreement, the President convenes a joint sitting of the two Houses. The disputed provision is finally adopted or rejected by a simple majority of vote of those who are present and voting. Assent of the President. A bill that is finally passed by both the Houses is presented with the signature of the Speaker to the President for his assent according to Article 111. This is normally the last stage. If the President gives the assent, the bill becomes an act and is placed in the statute book. If the President withholds his assent, there is an end to the bill. The President may also return the bill for the consideration of the Houses with a message requesting them to reconsider it. If, however, the Houses pass the bill again with or without amendments, and the bill is presented to the President for his assent for the second time, the President has no power to withhold his assent. Thus, lawmaking is a long, cumbersome, and time-consuming process. It becomes difficult to pass a bill in a short time. Proper drafting of the bill saves time, and skillful soliciting of opposition support makes the task easier. Money bills. It may be said to be any bill which relates to revenue and expenditure and is declared to be a money bill by the Speaker. A money bill cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Once a money bill is passed by the Lok Sabha, it is transmitted to the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha cannot reject a money bill. It must, within a period of 14 days from the date of the receipt of the bill, return the bill to the Lok Sabha, which may thereupon either accept or reject all or any of the recommendations. If the Lok Sabha accepts any of the recommendations, the money bill is deemed to have been passed by both houses. Even if the Lok Sabha does not accept any of the recommendations, the money bill is deemed to have been passed by both the houses without any amendment. If a money bill passed by the Lok Sabha and transmitted to the Rajya Sabha for its reconsideration is not returned to it within 14 days, it is deemed to have been passed by both the houses at the expiry of the said period in the original form.